Such a beast of a truck. And I think you guys are long overdue for a review. Hey guys, what's going on? Random Andrew coming at you with, yes, the review finally of the Gladiator. So I've had this truck now for, well, long enough to actually be able to make a good review for you guys. I figured it took some time of driving it, seeing what it was really capable of, throwing minor modifications at it, and we'll show you in this quick review. I'm going to try not to make it too lengthy. I do have a tendency to do that, don't I? Anyhow, filming on the phone today, hence why I keep looking over at the screen. So if you see me looking over like this, that's just me looking, making sure things are framed up. Anyhow, this thing's a beast. It is straight up one of the best trucks I think I've ever drove. I've drove quite a few different RC vehicles as far as crawlers go, and the maintenance with said crawlers, and honestly, I've really taken a liking to this. This Gladiator has been something else. The hill climbs, mud bogs, and I'd say the overall strength of the truck and holding together, not requiring a lot of maintenance. I think I've been down 2 bearings, and that was in a portal axle. Yeah, okay, right in here, behind here. And, well, that's because we're a mud bog, and if you watch the videos, you will have seen this truck in action. You know it's an animal, so let's get down and have a look. I'm going to point out some of the things I really loved about the truck, especially from stock. And, like I said, we'll go over some of the reviews and some of the downfalls, like a review of the modifications, and then we'll go over some of the downfalls that are rather minor, but not bad for, when you're looking at for faults. This truck does not have many faults. So right away, I want to point out to you guys some of the things I've absolutely loved about this truck. One, the design, the long wheelbase. Yeah, the suspension's a little soft, but that's how I like it as a crawler. The long wheelbase. It drives more like a truck than a Jeep. Don't get me wrong, short wheelbase is not bad. Has its advantages over long wheelbase. Long wheelbase, you can get hung up easier, but if you know how to drive it, it's barely a factor. The whole inner fender design. Having these inner fenders doesn't completely stop everything, but it stops a lot of mess from getting up inside the rig, keeps things inside a little bit cleaner. Good design, solid frame. Nice sliders on the side here. A little bit of a pain in the way that they tuck in, but after you do it a few times, fits no problem. And to do with those tucking in and fitment of the inner fenders, you always have to end up right there where my thumb is, giving a little squeeze to pop it down into place. The fitment for, this brings me to my next point. Love the lack of body pins up top. It helps to keep the truck looking a lot more scale without seeing those body pins sticking up on the top. It is still Lexan. It's no hard body, but it helps to keep the look. And the body pins actually go right up in here. See where my fingertip is. You can actually see one of the posts not fully seated in there. Why is that? Okay, well, I'd figure that out if I was putting it together right now, but obviously that guy's got the shell sitting on there. Interior quality is pretty awesome. Now I've changed the hat out. It comes with a cowboy hat, and I've changed it to the baseball cap and give him a red shirt to match the truck. I've also gone as far as to add, there was a sticker, let's see, right where the center console is, there was a sticker there, and I've actually 3D printed the handbrake, the transmission shifter, and the diff selection. Bear with me, guys, it's been a long day. As you can tell, I've added a few accessories onto the rig. And I'm just noticing now that that cap never got painted. That cap is completely missing. It's rough out on them trails. This was supposed to be a fire extinguisher. It's missing a piece too. So here's an example of just popping the top on very quickly to shut the lights off. And then your fitment getting it back in one-handed, good luck. There you go. Just takes a little finagling. Oh yes, notice right away too. I've also cut the windows open, so it's easier to see in there when we're filming. Now, I've added, as I said a few times now, get this puppy turned around. I've added a few things. front bumper, Amazon bumper, had to get it. It's different than the Stinger bumper everybody else prefers to run, and it's apparently loose. Look at that. Got some tightening up to do. Light bar. The light bar came with a really weak mounting system, so I made my own bracket, and well, it's taken a few hits and held, so that's good. Of course, every good off-roading truck needs the winch in there. It's a nice winch too. It's all wireless right here. It's not hooked up, but you just hook it up to a little 2S battery. That's enough to give it strength to pull yourself out. I have to start making use of this, keeping the trail runs more scale. You'll see that in future videos. As well, things I've changed and added, aside from the bumper and the light bar, the windshield surround. That's printed in carbon PLA, which is a kind of filament that we use for the 3D printing. And at first I was really hesitant, you know, to put the holes in to mount it. But once it's on there, it's nice looking. No real changes on the passenger side. Let's pull this lid off and have us a look. Would you have a look at this spaghetti mess of wires? Now, some guys will be absolutely screaming at their computer or their phone, whatever they're watching this on right now, saying, clean that mess up. But you know what? I've never, ever had a good luck with wiring and setting it up all nice and neat. So right now it's just set up so it's out of the way. So let's get to what is to love under here. What is not to love? Well, who doesn't love a nice LS cover? I've gone ahead and painted a couple details. I printed the second head for it. That's supposed to cover this side because they didn't. They really should have just put it as one piece. For whatever reason, they did not. I love the layout. The motor, transmission, transfer case. The only thing they could have done one step better to keep it a little more scale was make the transmission's transfer case a separate unit. But this works too. This works really well. See, you have a good look at that through all the wiring. Yes, I do have it locked into high gear. I don't need low gear, and you'll see why in a minute. And I don't use my dig function either. There's really no use for it at this point. For motor, well, you guys really can't see it. What if I lift the truck up? No, you really can't see it either because they really kept their scale looking under there. Under here is a quick run 2-in-1 Fusion 1200 kilovolt motor. Why did I go with the, oh, do you see an ESC under here? So if you haven't heard of the Fusion motor setup or these 2-in-1 jobs, you're probably wondering where the heck's your ESC? Well, it's 2-in-1, it's in the motor. So all you have to deal with is power wire and your wire going to the receiver from the built-in ESC in the motor. It's pretty groovy, it's pretty wicked. Oh, and your power switch. It's ample power. It's never let me down. As a matter of fact, it's actually caused the slipper clutch to slip. Since I did my rebuild, maybe I didn't tighten enough. Maybe it's just hooking up with a little more traction. So between the power and traction, you know. Battery placement, not bad. Not bad. It's a little far back, which means your weight isn't centered towards the front. That's all right. We can deal with it. I run a heavy 3S. I'm sure it would make a difference mounting it elsewhere, but really, where else are you going to do it? You can put it here, but then your truck's going to be riding like this down the trail instead of nice and level. Even this little 2S kind of throws that weight off once it's fully loaded. That's okay. I can live with that. Big 3S back here. So there's your layout of everything. I'm really not sure what else to tell you. I got this bumper on here because it came with a trailer hitch, completely metal trailer hitch, and it's got the perfect receiver for it. Great for hauling a trailer. You guys will see that sometime in the future. And that, you know, like, one of the other biggest cons, I saved this one for last. It's kind of something that they probably didn't think of ahead of time. Spectrum is who they went with for your receiver transmitter. This is not stock equipment, is it? This is where the 2-in-1 Spectrum ESC and receiver combo would sit. It's great. It works out of the box if you're just wanting to run stock. Ample power on a brushed motor. They put a 35 turn motor in, but it just, because I changed it out, I wanted something more powerful for one to change it out with. That's why I went with the Fusion motor. He's in there, trust me. You can just barely see him in there. You can't run a sound kit. If you know how a sound kit hooks up, it actually needs to tie in with your throttle signal so that it knows how much sound to generate, you know, what RPM simulated for the amount of throttle input you're giving. And when it's a 2-in-1 ESC receiver combo, there's nowhere to tie that in. I think that's the easiest way to try and explain it. So it had to go. Right now, I've got it on one of these old guys, a DX2E, until I can get something a little bit better. So all in all, only real modifications. Oh, I know one more. Have a look under there. That's that brass diff cover. Yes, a few ounces of weight added in the front. And a few ounces of weight added in the rear. There's a ton of aftermarket added weights you can get in the way of brass. I've also got a set of brass links coming for it. So all these links under here are going to double, if not triple in weight with all that added capacity. Weight capacity, whatever you want to, however you want to say it. It's just going to get heavier. You can also go as far as to get your portals. Oh, we haven't even discussed portals yet. Okay. Well, you can get your portal gear covers and casings in brass as well, but the problem is there's a bearing seat inside of those, and when you're ordering parts from Amazon, I've actually had issues with bearing seats not being the exact size they need to be, causing play or bearings not to fit. You get the general idea. But while we're on the subject of portals, what do you guys think? Do you prefer or not prefer? Maybe some of you guys haven't had the chance to run portals yet and you're just going by what other people say. But if you want a truck that's a go anywhere, no rules, mostly, portals are kind of a necessary thing to have. I have not gotten stuck unless it's going to be a getting stuck kind of day kind of thing. I really don't know what other way to tell you guys, but they're a blessing. That's the only thing I'm going to say. The portals on the front, you see them under there. There's even got some weeds hanging out. So yes, portal axles I think are absolutely the best. Would I put them on all of my trucks? No, definitely not. This is an explore truck. I'm going out on a trail I've never been in. I don't know what I'm about to encounter. So this is generally the truck I'll take on a first time on a trail. What other trucks do I have, you might say? Well, if you've been watching, you've seen a few of them, and we'll get to the reviews of them. Far different. I would like to actually sit this truck down next to some of, well, here's a hint. An RC 4-wheel drive Trailfinder 2. Yeah, that's a gem right there. And then just do a side-by-side comparison and show you how this one, scale truck, but not scale truck in the way that this is. Don't worry, side-by-side comparison coming very soon. So lastly, to point out the difference, you're going to notice these tires. These aren't what come on it. No, they come with a giant set of 2.2s, which are currently actually on an OG scx10, which you'll also get to see. But I wanted a more realistic feel. With the 2.2s, it was just getting through everything way too easy, and I like a little bit of a challenge. Besides, these are mudslingers, 1.9s. They got a 2-stage foam in them that I put in. Nice, they got a good bit of squish, but they still will maintain that hardness so that once you've got your grip, you can work with it. And the mud don't stick in it too badly either, being mudslingers. Mudslingers for the win. Does that make up for the 2.2s? Yes, it does, in my opinion. So, lastly, I want to mention is price. It is a bit of a pricey rig, but out of the box, and considering you will not need to buy much, I mean, other than what it takes to make it run a battery, a charger, batteries for your transmitter if they didn't throw them in. This truck, if you're thinking about it, is definitely the way to go. If you're looking for getting out on the trails, not having to struggle too much, and just go. Oh yes, there's one more thing I did add to it. It's a sound kit. You can see it in there. I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about it. Just know that I had to change the ESC receiver combo to put that sound kit in there. You'll hear it one of these days. It's just a bit of a pain finagling with all the wiring, but once it's in and good, it's golden. So, price, value, worth it. Style, you can't get much better than that. Trailability, I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10. But scale, I'm going to say 8 out of 10. I have the right to say that, I do believe. And I'm going to. Interior quality, pretty dang nice, being that they did not really need this room. The tinted windows, a little dark. Saves from seeing what interior there is. Otherwise, you know, like, guys, this is a mint truck. Should I put a snorkel on it? What do you think? Tell me in the comments section below. Does it need a snorkel? Maybe. So that's my quick overview of the scx10.3 Gladiator by Axial. Go Axial. Somebody from Axial sees this, give me a shout out down below, just so I know. Anyhow, thanks for watching, guys. You know what to do. Click like, subscribe, share the video everywhere. The RCs have been posted. Heck, go rate the Axial, share it on their page. Hey, Random Andrew needs your support. And guys, I need your support. Help these videos get their views that they deserve. Talk to you later. Have a good one.